Hi, everybody. I want to welcome everybody that's going to be joining us live for the live podcast and all those that'll be watching at a later date. We've got, I think it's 212 videos now, and they're all available for anybody to watch at any time they'd like. Subscribers, non subscribers alike. We always appreciate you subscribing, it helps to build the channel. But anyway, so tonight we're going to have a really fun show. What we're going to do is talk about Ozzy Osbourne's newest album. It's been out for a little while now, but the latest studio album. It is called Patient Number Nine. Hold on one second. I have a couple of people just joined us. We've got Caitlin Stoddard. Hi, Caitlin, Gary Spring, and Angela. So, Caitlin, I have a link up above if you want to click the link and come on and be on the show with me. Just scroll up in the comments and you'll see the link and come on if you'd like to. So anyway, we're going to talk about Patient Number Nine, and we've got a lot to talk about here. I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, Michael, there's a link up above. Go on up above and hit the link and come on the show, buddy. In fact, I will put another link on. All right, I just put up another link. So, Michael, hit that link and come on, and same with you, Caitlin. And look at the people coming in. Paula Neff, Chris Elliott. Hi, Chris. Gary Spring. Hi, Gary. Daddy Boggs, my buddy Daddy Boggs. I got your message, Daddy. I was just dealing with the setup of the show. Chris Elliott's here. Angela's here. Thank you, Angela. Man, we've got great people coming on here. And here's my good friend and fellow podcaster, Caitlin Stock.
Hi.
Okay, we're going to be talking about Patient Number Nine. And the amazing thing about this, and Ozzy does a lot of this anyway, but he really filled this album with an all-star cast. It's just amazing. We'll talk about it in more depth, but like on Patient Number Nine, for example, the title track, Jeff Beck was his guitar player.
Wow.
I know, and the whole album's like that with all these various artists, whether it's McCready from lead guitarist for Pearl Jam, or Eric Clapton, Tommy Iommi. I mean, it's just like an all-star cast. Oh, great! We've got DJ H Record Hound is here. Eddie's Physical Media Talk. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hi, DJ H.
Az Mick. Hey, how you doing, Az?
Hi, everybody.
Alan, Paul. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's really filling up. Michael Noland, I'm sorry, should be joining us very soon. And I was kind of trying to just wait a minute for him, give him a chance to get on.
Sure.
But I don't know. Have you heard this album, Kate?
I have.
Okay, I'm going to show the album cover right now. That's actually the back of it. It's Ozzy Osbourne, Patient Number Nine, and this is this. I used to think it was my ring lamp up there, but I've got that shut off. It's actually the glare of my computer screen. Patient Number Nine. This is a great album, and here comes Michael Noland. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Caitlin.
Hey.
Okay, well, like I was saying, we're going to be covering Ozzy Osbourne's Patient Number Nine. This is the way I used to grab my vinyl until I got criticized, and I stopped grabbing it like that. Now I hold it like this. Okay, but I think what I'm going to do to start, I want to show this vinyl off. Okay, I got this the other day. I was at a record store down in Orchid, California. Well, I got it about a week and a half ago. Down in Orchid, California, Santa Maria there. And I bought a White Album there a year and a half ago or so. And I'd forgotten they'd put me on the VIP list. Anything used in the store is 50% off if you're on the VIP list. So I've been buying all kinds of stuff that's $20 for $10, $10 for $5. I got this pretty cheap. I got to tell you that right now. But and it's this beautiful red translucent.
Gorgeous.
Pardon me?
It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, no, it really is gorgeous, man. It's fantastic.
Wow.
And yeah, no, and you know what?
What is that? Sarsaparilla red? You know, with the label, it kind of looks like an old sarsaparilla soda
Well,
you could get
yeah,
with that
right.
label. You know, that's
Yeah, no,
cool.
it does. I think that's one of the coolest labels I've ever seen. You
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna read this song. This is side one and two, and they've got the label like this on one side, and then both sides, the tracks are on the other side. Let me just read this real quick. I think this is cool. You got the Immortal is the number one track. You got the title track, Patient Number 9. You've got Parasite. That's side one. Then you move to side two. You've got Escape from Now. Uh, One of These Days in a Thousand Shades. Okay, well the other album looks exactly like this one, so I won't pull that out. We'll read the songs off the back of the cover. Okay, you've got Mr. Darkness. No surprise there.
Yeah.
Nothing Feels Right. No surprise there. Evil Shuffle. Uh, Degradation Rules. Dead and Gone. God Only Knows, and Dark Side Blues. But one of the
That's a
things
good one.
You know what, Royce?
Yeah.
That's interesting because the digital release for that has everything that you said except for the first two. The first cutoff of the digital release is Patient Number 9.
Isn't that strange? Yeah.
Yeah, and then comes Immortal,
Huh.
which
So those two are reversed.
yeah, and to me, I got to tell you, I think Patient Number 9 is the cut they should start off with that. The
Yeah.
whole invocative Alice Cooper, kind of mumbling at the beginning sets the tone for the album so well. And Jeff Beck's on it, baby. Jeff Beck's on it.
Yep.
And
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what?
Oh.
I did a review of this album back December 22nd. And 20 days later, Jeff Beck passed away. And
Yeah.
it was like
Right.
horrible because
Oh, yeah.
I had mentioned in the video how forward thinking I think this album is and how great an album it is.
Yeah.
I think it's a classic rock masterpiece.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm calling it. I was blown
Yep.
away. And you know what, Michael, when you did your review, had Ozzy canceled his tour?
No.
Yet?
No, see,
All that
with
was
the
going strong.
yeah, with the exception of Taylor Hawkins, already we knew he passed away and that he was on the album.
He's
And
on the album too.
these are some of his last recordings, but that was the only dent in the furniture, brother.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck was alive and well and just got through touring with Johnny Depp. And Ozzy, I even mentioned in the video, I go, I'm amazed he put out this album with all of the health issues we've been hearing about lately. And then he gives his announcement, man.
He says he was, got his shot and the booster for COVID. He still wound up getting it. He's developed Parkinson's disease. But from what I understand, what really took him off the tour was that pain in his back and in his spine due to an ATV accident years ago. It got so bad he just couldn't get up and walk around on stage like he normally would, so he had to cancel. But
have you heard that he's considering taking oh boy, I hate to say this. This just hurts me so bad to say this.
Yeah.
He's going to take a page out of He Who Shall Not Be Named out of all singers, Axl Rose, because when Axl had his leg wiped out or whatever, he toured and sang on a throne. So now Ozzy's considering that option because the man can't quit. He already has announced his retirement from performing, and he's trying to find a way to perform.
I think Ozzy on a throne or Ozzy standing up, I think I'll take him on a throne any day. I think that would be cool. I can just imagine what kind of a throne it would be, and probably some great big scepter he'd be holding on to. And
I'm not usually a fan of that. I actually criticize Genesis for doing that. But at the same time, you know, this album should be toured, you know, and if he would tour it properly, not just include 4 or 5 songs from this album and then all his hits, but if he would tour this album properly, I'd break that rule to go see him. You damn right I would.
I absolutely would too, Michael. And you know what? It's interesting that you said that about the sitting down thing, because Benny and I, a year ago, maybe it's been a year and a half now, we saw Rod Stewart at the Santa Barbara Bowl, and he had a cast on his foot, and he wasn't supposed to be putting weight on it. But he got up and did his Rod Stewart thing and was, you know, swaggering, walking back and forth, dancing on stage. I mean, the best that he could. And I understand the next couple of performances he had to sit down because he was in so much pain for doing that. But so this is somebody that went out. But I mean, you know, a foot or a back, I mean, that's 2 different things. I've been dropped to my knees by a back pain before. Just it came out of nowhere, and I was leaving to go snowboarding that night.
Yeah. Well, and as you know, last year I had to go through surgery due to a hernia, and I was because of this whole 2020 related nonsense that shall not be named on YouTube. I was on a waiting list for most of the year. A lot of my videos that I gave in 2022, most of them, I had to do bed rest in between takes. I was quite literally in pain doing those videos. So I do sympathize, you know, when you've got the bug, you know, when you got the bug to perform, you know, the show must go on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this album was released September 2022, and by February 2023, just a few months later, it was awarded the Grammy for Best Rock Album.
Yep.
You know, of course, the title track, as we've talked about already, Patient Number 9, is about a patient in a mental hospital. You know.
Hey, when did it get the Grammy? What was the date on that?
February 23. Let's see what the actual date is.
Okay,
February
no,
5th.
I just wanted. If you guys go and see my video, it's December 23rd, so you got to, or 22nd, so you got to go back a ways. But I claim calling it. All right.
Okay.
You know, because I named that album as an absolute wonder.
Oh, I'll tell you, you know, he may be feeling all kinds of aches and pains. Obviously, it canceled his tour. He canceled his tour. But his voice, I can't detect any slippage in his voice. Like so many of our aging rock stars, you're starting to notice some things in the voice and things like that. But I can't notice any change in his voice at all. Can you, Michael?
I hear him singing in lower keys, although he still can hit them, and he's getting great range. But he's definitely laying in a lower range much of the time. But man, Royce, you don't even notice that unless you know what to listen for.
Well,
you know,
I guess I don't know what to listen to, but
I hear keys. I'm a musician. I hear shifts and tonal things, and I've done mixing and
you know. But anyway, hey, Steve Midtham just joined us. Our good buddy Steve Midtham, and Daddy Boggs is here, and Kate. We're all on a different show some time back. So anyway, so kicking off the album, it starts out The Immortal, and McCready's playing on that. Pearl Jam lead guitar player plays on that. McCready, and let me grab this again right here. I've got a list of all the musicians that were brought in. But before I get into that kind of detail, I want to talk about the regular touring band that tours with Ozzy. I have a list of all those guys too. It's hard to keep track of Ozzy's band members because it seems to be really fluid. You know, he'll have a band he's playing with for years, and then he'll make an album. He'll bring all these new guys in, and his regular bandmates might get to do 1 or 2 songs, and he's got all these new guys in. And I think that's kind of unusual. You know, I've got he's not really a relative of mine, but he's my grandfather.
You don't think Sharon has a little bit to do with that? Change of personnel?
You got to wonder.
She guards him like a hawk, brother. She guards him like a hawk. And she's always in the business you know, she's got her fingers in the pudding in the background, bro.
Yeah, he'd probably be broke if she wasn't,
Yep.
But I don't know. Ozzy can have about any musicians he wants. They're always coming and going from bands, and when he's got a band that's doing a great job for him, and he's touring with them and been touring with some of them for years. It's a little sad to me when they get set aside and someone else gets brought in when it's album time. The residuals that you'll make from now on from that album, a great album, you kind of get cut out of that, But it is what it is. And Ozzy brings in a lot of people. They come and they go. Okay, so the immortal Mike McCready, Pearl Jam's lead guitar player, played on that one. Patient number 9, as we've already discussed, Jeff Beck. Really, I guess shortly before he died. Okay, Parasite.
By the way, Royce, that first cut that you were talking about, Immortal, I love McCready's staccato kind of beginning with that, and then and then you think, oh, this is going to be kind of laid back, and then he gets real intricate with his guitar playing. I love it.
This is a fantastic album. It's just it's just off the charts.
And of course, you know what I think about what is essentially the first track, Patient number 9, on the digital release. I think it sets the tone for the whole album. So far, 2 out of 2, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, then you've got Parasite, and we've got Zach Wild's playing on that one. And I tell you what, as soon as he starts playing, I know it's Zach Wild.
Yeah.
Well, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's and he's still. I think he was going to be part of the touring band when Ozzy was leaving on tour. He's doing his own thing, with Black Label Society, and he's actually touring with Pantera now, taking Dimebag's place.
And he's on more tracks than the so-called other guest guitarists. I think Jeff Beck's on 2, isn't Zach on 3? Eric Clapton's on 1.
There. Yeah.
Mike Creedy's on 2, I think, and Tony Iommi's around. So.
And Tony Iommi, right?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, what a crowd, man! What a crowd!
Oh my God, that's what makes this album so great. These guys come in and just perform their hearts out. Then you've got
Taylor Hawkins,
and absolutely.
Hawkins, yeah. And
Robert Trujillo.
Robert Trujillo. Duff McKagan, bassist from your favorite band, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Well, we're all allowed to make a few mistakes.
Okay. All right. No Escape from Now. We've got Tony Iommi on that one. So the first 4 songs.
Doesn't that one remind you of Planet Caravan?
Yes.
Ah, God.
So we go from Mike McCready to Jeff Beck to Zach Wild and then Tony Iommi, the original. Okay, so then we go on to one of these days, Eric Clapton.
And you know what? The album liner note says that this was not co-written by Eric Clapton. But sit.
I know. Well, my wife got home from LA and the dogs are going crazy.
But listen to the chord structure. That's an Eric Clapton song. He uses that chord progression so many times in his music. I just wonder if they go, hey, this chord progression we're working on kind of sounds like an Eric Clapton, and Ozzy or Sharon goes, Eric? Because it sounds like an Eric Clapton song.
It does.
Totally. Yeah.
Wow. So Eric Clapton played on One of These Days, those days. And now 1,000 Shades, Jeff Beck again. So it's kind of like the rotation starts over again. So that's
with his best solo on the album and one of his best solos of his entire career.
And he's got a very
unique style.
He can play anything, but his style is very unique. And I picked that out, when he was playing it. That's got to be Jeff Beck without looking at the notes and stuff here.
Oh, the vocabulary on that solo, where he goes, and you go, oh, I thought I knew him. But while we're going there, that sounds just like Jeff Beck,
Right.
What we expect from him right up until practically the day he died, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Still inventive, still a hot damn guitarist. Oh Lord,
Yeah. Oh well,
what a loss.
Yeah, it's so unique. Okay,
Yep.
so we've had two from Jeff Beck so far. Now here comes Mr. Darkness on side 3, and that's Zach Wilde again.
Right.
He's awesome. I like Zach Wilde.
I really like Zach Wilde. When he came on the scene, or at least came on the scene for me in No More Tears, I was completely blown away.
I reviewed. I reviewed. He released an album, where it's like he did like a whole album covering like Black Sabbath songs.
Oh, okay.
And that was actually I was really impressed with that too.
Yeah.
He's kind of like covered like a lot of the popular Black Sabbath songs in his own way. And it was.
I'd like to hear that. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I can't remember the name of it, but it's gorgeous.
Right. I'll Google it sometime.
Yeah, take a look. Take a listen. I think you might like it.
So after Zach Wilde in Mr. Darkness, it's Zach Wilde again, and Nothing Feels Right.
Which is the best one out of the Zach Wilde songs, I think.
Okay.
I think that's.
Yeah,
I think they're all good, but that's
Yeah. Okay.
They are all good. I didn't hear a bad song last night. I'm going to be listening.
No, there's not. There isn't a bad song on that record. All the songs are just gorgeous. Just
the worst song on that album is a solid album track.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have Degradation Rules, Tommy Iommi again.
And some great harp playing, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which kind of comes back later on in the album, So that is a deliberate thing you do at the end of the album. You start flavoring it with stuff, and if the vibe is good, the listener wants to just flip that sucker back over, drop that needle, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would have done that last night, but it was getting late, and I would have fallen asleep with it. No matter how loud I played it, I probably would have passed out. I'm not talking about intoxicated. I'm talking about tired.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
So Mary Jane joined us. I don't know if I said anything about that yet. Hi, Mary Jane. Good to see you.
Yay, Mary.
All the time. Mary Jane has shared stuff of mine so many times, and I really appreciate it. So anyway, we go to Degradation Rules with Tony Iommi. But then what's kind of weird is there's like, after that, it's Dread and Gone, God Only Knows, and Dark Side Blues. And they're not listing, I don't know if that's just the straight up regular touring band on those three, because they don't appear to be featuring anybody that's not a normal member. So I'm not sure what that's all about.
God Only Knows is one of the very best of the tracks on the album and a perfect album closer. And then they did a Beatles thing. You know how on Abbey Road they go, Her Majesty's is pretty. Well, instead of doing a little snippet like that, they gave us Dark Side Blues, which is a real lo-fi recording. Totally changes everything, and that's where you want to get it back to sound glossy, so you turn it around and start all over.
Wow.
Lots of thoughts go into these albums and how they're mixed with the order of the tracks and everything.
Wow. Look at this. Chris Elliott's talking about seeing Tom Jones in September 2022. And when this album was made, he sat on a stool. The doctor told him to postpone the tour and get hip surgery. But he went on tour anyway. Surgery was 3 weeks after that last show. I mean, that's respect right there. you know.
That man will drop on stage.
Yeah. Well, growing up in Las Vegas, he was like a fixture in our lives. Him, Elvis, the Rat Pack, all those guys.
Well, all those hits he had in the 60s. See, I don't buy the lounge act Tom Jones. He's got a great voice, so one of the best out.
Right.
Powerful. But those hits in the 60s, I loved them. Delilah, what's New Pussycat? Oh my God. Yeah, I loved them.
Those were great songs.
Oh, they were fantastic.
Yeah,
And then he kind of went sort of Vegas, and I lost interest in him, you know.
Yeah.
But I've seen some recent videos where he's done with some bands, some real rockin' stuff. So I don't know what he's up to these days.
And I don't know what he's up to either, you know.
Yeah.
We had all these people had, you know, like residencies back before there were residencies in Vegas, like in the 60s and stuff like that. And
well, that's back when a residency was for somebody who was big once, isn't anymore. But and it was a time when Vegas was visited mainly by the upper middle class rich, who were always a generation older. And so, you know, these acts could get this. And I understood that. And they've been with us forever. But the current residencies, that laughable sphere and that giant guitar, that building in front of what hotel is that? They're going to get rid of the jungle rockfall and put a giant hard rock guitar that's so tall people could fly into it. So they got to get a no-fly zone rule passed before it's done. What a freaking joke! Residencies are going to kill rock and roll.
I hope not, Michael.
Me neither, but man,
rock and roll is so embedded in everybody that I just can't see it killing it unless you're referring to the touring, you know.
Well, look what you can do with the sphere. You can show up without your drummer and play the one album that's known for your drummer.
Right.
So much for you too, my friend. I've lost total respect for them. You know, what the hell? You're going to do Achtung Baby without Larry Mullins Jr.? Are you freaking kidding me? His input on that album was vital. It's an album known for his input. Yeah. And we get them playing it without him?
Right. You know,
you might as well show up without Bono, you know? I mean, get a ringer for him. It works for Queen.
Did I mention co-host Dan McNeil is at an Elvis impersonator concert tonight that he's going to be filming. It may wind up on the show.
Cool. Yeah. I was in one of the chats. Oh, I think it was Caitlin's chat where he mentioned he wasn't going to be able to be on tonight.
Yeah.
And because of that. Yeah.
Gary Spring is right on. Jeff Beck plays chords on the guitar that most people can't even find anywhere.
That's right. Perfect.
Right. He's an amazing guitarist. And on this album, Ozzy said he was honored that Jeff Beck agreed to play. He also
he should have been.
and you know, he tried to get Jimmy Page. He wanted Jimmy Page to play on some of the songs. And Page just, I guess, I don't know what the story was. He just wasn't interested. I understand.
Well, Jeff Beck is my second favorite, greatest guitarist, most specialist guitarist in the universe. To me, Jeff Beck beats Hendrix, okay? And Hendrix right to follow. But only Jimmy Page, as you well know, Royce, beats him. But that's how high of regard I have for Jeff Beck's playing, man.
Well, you know,
he's amazing.
I have his total high regard myself. I did like Hendrix's style better, though, as far as like the content of songs and things like that.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I agree with you on that. I mean, if you just made a list of guitarists that sounded like no other guitarist before them, then you know, because Beck and Page grew up together, so there's some similarities in their playing. Although Beck had an ability to go more into the jazz influenced better than Jimmy, but then you have to. So I think Jimmy's one of those guitarists. You hear him, you go, "Oh, we haven't heard this before." And Hendrix and Van Halen. Oh, we haven't heard this before. And I mean, not that there's not some obscure player that came up with those sounds before them, but for the general audience, you know. And those players, yeah, Santana's another one. Who the hell taught anybody to play Spanish lead rock guitar? I mean,
Well,
his playing is so Spanish.
I love Carlos Santana. He's
Oh, me
fantastic.
too.
Huge fan. Ever since, he didn't have any albums out at all when he played Woodstock. But after that Woodstock performance, I was an overnight fan, craving to get. I mean, he was,
and they were higher than a kite.
And you know what? Believe it or not, I have. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no,
they took acid just before that performance.
They showed up at the airport to go to Woodstock, and Jerry Garcia got him in to Woodstock because nobody knew who they were. They opened for Jerry Garcia, playing all over the Bay Area and stuff. And so he got him in there, and Jerry Garcia saw Carlos and the guys getting off their plane, and he goes, "Hey, Carlos," and called him over, and he goes, "Hey, man, I got some acid. You guys want to take some acid?" And Carlos goes, No, Jerry, thank you, but we don't know when we're going on. So he goes, "Oh, no, you're going on after us, and we're not going on till, 10 hours from now or something." And they go, "Okay." So the whole band took acid. And all of a sudden, they were sitting backstage, and somebody walked in and goes, "Santana, you're up," because so many acts couldn't get through the streets. People had abandoned their cars, and people couldn't get to the venue. So a whole bunch of people had to postpone, and Santana's, and that performance they put on was just Soul Sacrifice. Oh my, that's still one of the greatest performances.
It was perfect. It was perfect. It was a perfect moment in rock. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant performance.
Timothy Leary was right.
Well, I can only tell you, people who have taken acid could tell you the zone that man was in.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a completely different reality when you're on LSD. All right. Yeah. I remember seeing traces of a basketball that I shoot through a hoop. Actually, you just saw it in like microcosms travel across the sky. So now watch that, because I just watched that performance last night on a YouTube video.
Okay,
Royce, watch that and think about that. That's what this guy was feeling and seeing. And look at his face. Look at his face. You can tell he's higher than a kite, and but he's in tune with the freaking universe, man. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, no, it was. I've never seen anything like that performance.
Jeff Healey's
everybody poured out all they had at Woodstock.
Oh yeah.
Unless they were having some technical difficulties, like the Grateful Dead getting shocked up there and stuff. Anyway, so hey, Dan's here.
Hi, Dan.
Hey man, Dan, just the facts.
I'm gonna put up a link, buddy.
Yeah, put out a link. He needs to come up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the show he was at.
Yeah, I hope everything went okay.
Yeah, maybe it's over with. Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, Dan. I just put a link up, buddy. Okay, what is he saying here? He says he headed home after getting some video footage of an upcoming Royce in the House show. Well, thank you, Dan. Awesome, buddy.
Awesome.
Oh, you're awesome, Dan.
Yes.
Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jeff Healey. Yeah. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan was amazing also,
Oh yeah.
He would. I think his smallest string on the guitar was a 13.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't have his hands cut open all the time.
Yeah. Now, just for those who aren't musicians, I play with a 9. We're talking about the high E string. That's the skinny one, right? I play with a 9 when I play lead guitars because I want
to. 9 here too. I finally on the acoustic started going up because I, trying to get a better tone.
Right.
Things,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what, Royce? Jeff Healey would fit into my top 20. He's fantastic. Very, close to the 10 spot. I love him. I'm a fan. But every guitarist we've mentioned so far tonight is in my top 10.
Gotcha.
Easily. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can add Richie Blackmore to that list. You can add, of course, we talked about Van Halen. Rory Gallagher, you can add to that list. Eric Clapton, you can add to that list. All right. Boy, just off the top of my head.
Well, I agree 100% with everything you just said.
They're monsters. They're monsters. Yeah.
They are.
Legends.
Happy Hippie
Legendary.
the joined us. Great.
Hi. Happy Hippie.
Hey.
Welcome.
Yeah. Just the facts. I'm driving.
Okay, well, we want you to
say. That's insane, Dan.
Yeah, we've got, one thing that's interesting, and I seem to get
Gary Moore for sure.
I get a lot of other, podcasters or YouTube channel guys coming to the show. I think that's pretty cool.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it is.
And I usually try to give them all a good shout out. This is kind of an intense show. I haven't been giving everybody a great shout out like I normally do, but at some point I'll do that. And Michael Nolan here below me, he's got his show. Let me give an example. It's so hard to put into too many words, but when I first started watching Michael, 400 or 500 subscribers within that 1 year period from then to now, he's got 26,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I just hit 26 a couple of days ago.
I'm as honored,
Congratulations.
I'm as honored as Ozzy was to have Jeff Beck to have you on my show.
Hey, buddy, you knew me when this is where I hang out. You know that.
Right, I know that.
This is just me, Mike, Royce, and Dan often. Sometimes we've had the pleasure of having Bruce from the R&B show. Yeah. And tonight we have Caitlin, who I habituate her channel all the time.
I've been making the time to go there, and it's not always easy because she does it during working hours a lot. And
but me too. The ones I don't make usually, Caitlin, is because of that. Your time slot sometimes interferes with me, but whenever I got downtime and you're on, I'm over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry.
I want to compliment you, Caitlin. Your show is really good.
Oh, thank you.
You're really kind of come into your own on that show. You've got.
No, I'm just rock and rolling.
That's yes, you are.
I pull from the professionals I see on here. What? Yeah, you what? Okay. Yes.
Anyway, Caitlin.
Anyway, what Angela said, I was trying to go amen.
Oh.
She said, "Drive safe, Dan."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, Dan, we want you safe. Yeah.
Kate, what is the best way? I wind up typing in Kate Stoddard, not Kate's Corner, like I used to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about doing? It's kind of what you've been doing with social media. Kind of just post a link of your show on there, so that way.
Yeah.
So that way, I was thinking about doing that because I was thinking about your issue. And Michael, I apologize. I had no idea. And about my time interfering with yours.
Oh,
or whatever.
No. It's just the way. Sometimes there's weeks when it's the perfect time period.
Okay.
Content. Here's the deal. Content creators, and there's a lot out there that's watching us right now. You guys know. Sometimes we'll be up for 48 hours trying to get out 2 videos, and our sleep patterns get disrupted for 3 days.
Right.
And so there are days and days when I catch your show, and then there's like up to a week and a half, 2 weeks where I don't catch it. And it's only because of what I do here,
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Okay, I just want to make sure. It's like if I need just my time, I'll do it.
No. I think you've got a good time.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I got to mention Gary Spring's comment here. I wholeheartily agree with that. There's so much
Glenn Campbell, yeah, absolutely.
Glenn Campbell than Wichita lineman.
I watched
recently on YouTube of just Glenn Campbell solos, and my mouth fell open.
Yeah.
Lightning.
Well, dig this. Glenn Campbell, way before we knew I am the lineman for the lemon, that song, right? Way before that, he got a start as temporary, but one of the original members of the Wrecking Crew, working with Brian. Yes, working with Brian from the Beach Boys often.
Yeah.
And yes, and that's how Glenn Campbell temporarily became a Beach Boy. While he was working as a guitarist, because that's how good he was. If you could be in the same studio as Tommy Tedesco, you're a damn great guitarist. And Glenn was superb. And so he got the gig and he toured for, I think, one tour with the Beach Boys as the traveling Beach Boys band, right? And then, of course, he went back into the Wrecking Crew, with the Wrecking Crew, did some more recordings. And through those contacts, his career just took off. They teased him about it.
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even really think about that. That's cool, actually. I didn't know that. I already learned something.
Getting back to patient number 9.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry.
I was like, what were that title track, patient number 9? Listen to the people that were playing on that. You had, Metallica bassist Robert Trujillo.
Oh, great bassist.
Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer who played on more than just one of these tracks, Chad Smith.
Yeah.
Al Tom Posey, let's see, introduced patient number 9. It was a work in progress. Okay, Ozzy revealed that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and we mentioned that already. The spinal.
Yeah, my mom has it. She's been battling Parkinson's for 28 years. So I know what's on anybody. It's not cool at all.
Well, patient number 9, I mean, it featured, Beck, Trujillo, Smith, Eric Clapton, Zakk Wylde, Guns N' Roses, Duff McKagan, Pearl Jam's Mike McCready, Josh Homme. I mean, the list just, and reportedly he asked Jimmy Page to contribute, I mentioned that earlier a couple of times, but the guitarist declined. So anyway, what I want to do, I think it bears doing that we give a shout out to the band that's been playing with Ozzy for several years now and touring with Ozzy. And let's see. Okay. It's a pretty amazing list here. Okay. Well, Zakk Wylde has come and gone. Zakk Wylde played with Ozzy from 87 to 92, and then from 95 as a session artist to 98. Then he toured with him from 2001 to 2009. And now from 2017 to the present, Zak's still considered part of the band, I know. And okay, then we've got guitar, piano backing vocals. Then we've got Rob Blasco Nicholson on bass. Okay. I'm sorry. Zakk Wylde not only plays guitar, he also plays the piano. Keyboards and backing vocals.
That's cool.
I got a little crossed up here. Then you've got Rob Blasco Nicholson from 2003 to present plays bass for Ozzy.
Yeah.
Then you've got Adam Wakerman, 2004 to present, as a backup musician, credited as a backup musician, keyboard, rhythm guitar. Then I gotta give this guy a shout out. This is Tommy Clufetis. He used to play for Rob Zombie and others, And Tommy's been with Ozzy now from 2010 to the present, and initially started touring as a substitute drummer in 2009. Now it's been 2010 to the present. And I tell you, you want to see an unsung drum hero, as far as I'm concerned, totally underrated. Go on YouTube and ask for a Tommy Clufetis video. You talk about a wild man on the drums. Oh my God.
I'm not familiar with him, so I'll check him out. Name again?
Okay, Tommy. Well, Clufetis, and I'm going to spell that Clufetos.
Yeah, I saw his name. I remember when I did research for my video, I saw the name. The name sounded familiar, but I just want to make sure because I'll check him out, Royce.
Well, you might have heard me mention his name before because my oldest daughter, he's one of the godfathers to my granddaughter.
Huh?
So I've been at Christmas parties and dinners and stuff like that with him when he comes to town.
Your family and drummers, man.
and Eric Singer is the other godfather to the same grandson.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric's cool.
Eric Seeming of Kiss, if
He's
assuming
cool, dude.
know who
Eric
that
is. He's cool, dude.
Well,
He's
you know
legit.
what? We've been busy looking at each other talking, and my good friend Gloria has popped in. Hi, Gloria. How you doing?
Hey, Gloria.
It's good to see you. Thank you for showing up. We really appreciate it. I think Carlos Santana is a good guitar. Oh, I really like Joe Walsh. You know, I like.
Joe Walsh is good.
There's something about Carlos's style. It's just so soulful. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's unique, and it's just incredible. It's in a whole different class all by itself, as far as I'm concerned.
And then when you talk about Joe Walsh is almost tied with Brian May, and you go, how can you tie those two? Well, they're the reason I love both of them is they're both tinkerers. They would develop their own electronics and readjust their amps and guitars in order to carry out special sounds. And Joe Walsh, I think, beat Brian May by a couple of years on that. But when Brian got to it, all of a sudden he's playing two guitar parts right in front of you live. And, you know, he developed how to do that by himself. Wow. There were no boxes to do that, you know. There were no harmonizers out during those days.
No.
So.
Yeah. Wow. So anyway, so I was at Tommy Clufetta's. So this was the regular touring band. Zach Wilde, who's kind of in and out, and Rob Nicholson on bass, Adam Wakerman, he's keyboard, rhythm guitar, and Tommy Clufetta's the drummer. And Tommy's been touring with Ozzy, oh God, since 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. And he doesn't always get to play on the albums for some reason, like some of these other guys. You know, he did play on a. I understand he played on Patient Number 9. And I think the title track, the top track too, the Immortal. I think he played on both of those. I know he played on Patient Number 9. I read that, and it seems like I'm getting conflicting stuff in some of the other things I'm reading. But anyway, so that's that. I had to give those guys a shout out. These are the guys you see when you go to an Ozzy concert, you know, and what we're talking about now, mostly the guys you don't see when you go to an Ozzy concert, with the exception of Zach Wilde, of course.
I'm sorry, Angela. That's rough.
Yes, it is.
Okay, what did Angela say?
No, go back a little bit. Just go back.
She lost her father to Parkinson's 4 years ago. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Angela.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's heartbreaking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so many people develop that, you know. I've got
I don't like it. It's definitely robbed me from brothers, that's for sure.
I got a couple of cousins in Bakersfield that have died from it, and another one that has it now and is lived 20 years, 25 years longer than they said he was going to live. And of course, everybody knows Muhammad Ali had not Parkinson's disease, but Parkinson's syndrome from taking too many blows to the head. And that was heartbreaking for me because I was such a huge fan of Muhammad Ali, such a funny guy and a talented fighter. But anyway,
it's an insidious condition and disease. It takes you bit by bit. You know, just like Alzheimer's, there's diseases that linger, and you know,
exactly.
You know, my condolences, really, Angela. I'm serious.
Yeah, my mother lived with us for 5 years with you know, dementia and stuff, and
she said
it was really hard because if you knew my mother, she was the most outgoing, gregarious, laughing all the time, and funny. Me and my younger brother used to just crack up. I mean, she was just a real sweetheart, really. And the last thing you want to do is see someone that those aren't the last memories you want. I mean, speaking to what you were talking about, Michael, these diseases that just take you a piece at a time. That's not what you want to remember, you know.
Right.
And
my mom died of cancer. Each one of us, 5 kids, took shifts took care of her till, well, she actually passed away on my shift. And you just saw little bits and pieces, just fall by the wayside daily. And it's a hard thing to bear. It really is.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. That's rough.
There's my buddy Psycho's Platters. He's got a great YouTube show too, and he's been working at it for a long time, and he's very entertaining. Everybody ought to check him out. Thanks everyone. It's hard to, it really is hard.
It is.
It really is hard.
Yes, it is.
I feel really bad about that. Okay, so
but if you think about it, we were talking, if anybody's joined just now and wasn't here for the first part of the show, right. I think it's pretty damn amazing of Ozzy. I mean, I mean, he announces his retirement, and now he's actually giving interviews saying how he's considering touring with a throne. I love it, a throne. I'll just sit here and perform.
Oh, no, I would be totally happy to see that.
Yeah,
just to
that'd
see
be great.
There, really.
That'd be awesome to see for sure.
Well, I mean, he should get the Medal of Honor just for the guts. Guy doesn't know when to quit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. These I'm gonna go through a few of these songs again and some of the people that played on them, and of course. The immortal, the guitarist was Mike McCready.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Patient number 9, we had Jeff Beck. Parasite, we had Zakk Wylde. No Escape from Now, we had Tony Iommi. One of These Days, Eric Clapton. Thousand Shades, Jeff Beck again. Mr. Darkness, Zakk Wylde again. Nothing Feels Right, Zakk Wylde again. And Evil Shuffle, Zakk Wylde again. So Zakk really played on a lot of them. And number 10, Degradation Rules, Tony Iommi. Tony, great song.
Ugh.
Dead and Gone, God Only Knows. Anyway, so we had a mix of other people in here too. We had Taylor Hawkins was there.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Taylor.
Oh my God! Chris Chaney played bass. Duff McKagan played bass. Robert Trujillo played bass.
I love that bassist.
Yeah, I mean, so many great.
He's great.
Bassists, keyboardists. I mean, that's why I just wanted to talk about this a little bit tonight, because it was such an all-star cast that played on this, and it's not as if
indeed
have a fantastic band. He does.
I think I know, Royce, I told you this on Facebook. I think it was like maybe yesterday. I think we had this discussion, or last night. You were listening to the album.
Yes.
And I was just, I think it's just, amen to that. Sorry, I'm like, yes. Sorry. And I was just saying that just watching Ozzy go through these hardships and still be able to make music, I think that's very inspiring.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's very inspiring. It's like it's just like I've always respected Ozzy, and knowing what kind of conditions he had and how much pain, he in it. He still created a fantastic record. It's just
fantastic.
I love it. It gives you a little motivation too along the way.
Oh, I so agree, Caitlin. You know what? This album could have so easily been one of those albums. My biggest criticism of the Ringo album that had Beatles coming on it and everything is it sounded a bit too glitzy. This does not sound like those kinds of albums. It sounds organic, like one band put it together. It's awesome.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I really am right with the list you just mentioned. It just shows how much time and effort he thought about choosing who should appear on the album.
I know. Yeah.
Well, when learning about before it got released, I'm a music journalist, and us at work, we were talking about this album, and and we were just like, it's just amazing how he was able to ask him.
I remember during Ozzy's reality show with his family.
Yeah,
People used
I
to
remember
make
that.
fun of him, but I tell you what, when it comes to musicianship and picking musicians to make his album all that it could possibly be, I trust his judgment.
Oh yeah.
And
He,
I just want to do one little quick shout out here. Our good
Sure.
friend Mary Jane, good friend of the show, just subscribed to Psycho's Platter, and I want to tell you, I really love seeing stuff like that. And
Yeah, I do too.
I was on Rachel's show one day, and and those shows carry on for about 3 hours. So I'd click on a name, and I'd go to the channel and subscribe, and come back and make a post that I subscribed to that to about 5
Oh,
people.
I've done the same thing, Royce.
Rachel got so excited that I was doing that.
Yeah. No,
That's cool.
I'm a firm believer in supporting the YouTube community, and especially content creators of any kind.
Absolutely, Michael.
It's a tough job, people. It's not you think that, oh, well, you just slap a camera up and talk and give your opinion.
No.
There's a whole lot that goes into it. Time planning, all of that.
You make a whole lot of changes before you finally get to doing it too. And
yes, you do.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I've been entering a lot of contests. I'm really trying to get my channel, moving forward as far as subscribers.
You're doing awesome, though.
You've done great too.
You're doing wonderful.
I've done 4 or 5 contests for other people. Now, my contest came out 2 weeks ago today. I've had 20 people enter my contest, make a video, show it to everybody on YouTube. And the first few days, it was like, everybody poured in, 20 people. But it has slowed down. It has slowed down. You're not going to get 20 people a week, or I'm not going to get 20 people a week. But
I think you will. I think you'll get more than that before it's over.
I'm going to
get it.
I had 20 shows, but I picked up 50 subscribers since I started the contest.
Right.
And my goal was to reach 700. I'm at like 54 or 64. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, so it's ticking up. I mean, my contest is going to run through May 6th, which is my birthday.
Yeah.
And if I get one a day, I'll hit my 700. But anyway,
May 5th is your birthday?
May 6th is my birthday. Yeah.
May 6th.
And you what? 69?
25.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I just know I'm 68, so I'm not a woman. I don't lie about my age or anything. I am what I am.
Michael, 68, 69, 70. That's like the new 40, 45. I mean,
I'll buy into that lie. There are days, Royce.
Oh my
gosh. There are days.
Goodness.
No, I walk
cool,
5 miles a day. I'm still active.
Cool.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
So
I'm not dead either. I may look like it, but I'm not.
Nope. You are not, and you do not look like it. Stop it.
Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah. I used to spend a lot of time in the gym, and I was taking protein before I got there, drinking protein while I was working out, drinking it when I came home, feeding those muscles, and I'd be out in the parking lot taking creatine, all this stuff, all these things that were supposed to help you grow. And I was in pretty good shape. I've really kind of dropped the ball here lately. I got to start working on it again. Hey, well, Gloria wants us all to know that Maurice Gibb.
That's awesome.
Yeah. April 7th in Miami, there will be a dedication to Maurice Gibb.
Wow.
Bee Gees. That's
good
all
right. Good for Gibb, too. That's wonderful.
For sharing this, Gloria.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, didn't they get their kind of second wind in Miami? Recording in Miami.
I'm not sure. I know. I'll tell you right now, Gloria.
I'm really reaching back in the vaults for this memory, but I think so. Weren't they? Maybe Gloria can tell us.
Yeah, Gloria, your answers acquired here. Don't look at me. I don't.
Yeah.
Pulling out my expertise.
Because wasn't it part of the Miami sound was part of what they grabbed onto when they moved to their more, well, people call it their disco phase, but
Yeah, that was definitely like straight up Miami, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah, Daddy Bug.
Mary Jane actually shared my contest on
Oh,
Facebook.
you're awesome, Mary.
Oh, cool.
I know. And she's done that to so many shows I was promoting.
Now, Mary's awesome.
Yeah, she really is.
She is awesome. She's a good friend of mine too.
Okay.
You know what? I'm just gonna show a couple of pictures. They're no big deal. I think we've seen them already. Just holding the album.
Yeah,
cover.
go ahead. You're
But
cool.
Ozzy Osbourne, Patient Number 9.
I like the mascara on him too. That's cool.
He looks
And
really
it's a great album cover, man. Look at that.
I mean, he looks very
Hey, Michael, tell me he doesn't already look like he's sitting in a throne.
That's what I was just going to say, Royce. I hadn't really picked up on that because I hadn't looked at the album since he made that, the interview or made those statements that he was considering trying to find a way to still perform. Yeah. That's weird, man. Look at that.
Yeah, he looks better sitting down than he does standing up.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. This was my record player. This was my record player last night.
See, he was playing Sarsaparilla Records.
Yeah, okay.
I just love that red marble transparent.
No, the red marble's gorgeous.
Great. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right. Look at this. Gloria's Frontier.
Okay. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria.
You know, I heard earlier in the chat that Ozzy put actually Patient Number 9 album.
Good point,
CD
Angela.
And cassette. Did you see that comment?
Fantastic facts, Angela.
And cassette. 406. Eric Clapton told the Bee Gees to use Criteria recording. Well, Eric Clapton would know. That's a cool comment, Angela.
That's a cool fact. I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Angela knows a lot.
I love that record. Carl Radle was still playing bass with him on that record. I love that record. Of course, Carl Radle was the bass player with Derek and the Dominoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Great record. Great record.
I forgot.
Derek and Dominoes, man.
Forgot to pull that down.
Killer.
So anyway, I just want to say, here getting near the end here, that I became a fan of Ozzy Osbourne from the first moment I heard him, and I think it was like 1970, and
72 for me, but yeah,
70. Okay, they came out, and it was another one of these sounds that was another game changer for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that happened to me several times.
Oh yeah,
this was and I got to see him either that year or the next year in concert at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Yeah. And a couple of years later, I got to see him at the California Jam. And this was Ozzy Prime. But I tell you what, I look at this new album, I listen to this new album, Patient Number 9, and it's like still Ozzy Prime. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't beat around the bush. He just gives it to you straight up.
I was trying to analyze things when he canceled his tour. Is this going to be the last album we ever see? But the truth is, there are people that have left us. They're still putting albums out that music no one's heard before.
And he did make a statement that if nothing else, he would continue to write and record music.
They have so much stuff on tape, these guys, that he could put out probably, I mean, what did they say Prince could do? Another 100 albums or something like that? He's got so much stuff recorded. And this stuff, it'll be coming out from now on. But you know what? That's not always the best stuff. You want to put another album out. And I'm not saying there isn't some great stuff, but oftentimes it doesn't make the album, when you're picking and choosing from your tracks. So, but some of them.
Or how about great albums that become trash albums because they remix them? The Dark Side of the Moon 50th Anniversary Edition.
Here we go.
Sucks. It sucks. It sucks. I'm going to do a video on it.
My gosh.
I just saw that yesterday.
Ruined it. They've ruined it, Royce. They've taken away the three-dimensionality of that album. That album, all right, The Dark Side of the Moon is not only one of rock's and pop's greatest albums, best-selling albums of all time, but it is, dig this, it is a It is a symphony of an album. It's on the level of Beethoven. It's on the level of Bach. It's on the level of Mozart and all of Tchaikovsky. It is a symphonic album. Not that the band is playing with a symphony on the album, but it has a symphonic feel and a three-dimensional flavor, and they ruined it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Jerks.
It was.
They ruined it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an analysis on that album because I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what I'm listening for. I know what elements are missing that were there that made it not just merely a great rock album, but a magnificent piece of music that someone in humanity created. Right? You don't fuck with that shit, man.
No, there's no reason to.
No.
You can't.
Good Lord.
You can't always make something better.
No.
People like to, but you can't.
And I'm not against remixes. You know, I love the remix for Rubber Soul, right?
There's some good ones, but there's some bad ones too. Yeah.
This is a bad one.
This is a bad one.
Yes, it is.
I got a shout out to Angela. She says she has a thing about music trivia. You know,
me too.
I know, Angela.
Nerd.
We're really honored to have you here sharing your trivia with us. Thank you.
Well, I've got a trivia-based mind too. I seem to remember weird things, and she beat me tonight on that. So thank you very much.
We've got some really knowledgeable people here.
Oh yeah,
no, I love it. More music dorks like us. It's nice.
Yep.
We are dorks. I'm not afraid to say it. So.
Music dorks shall free the world.
Dorks unite.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Chris Elliott, you're right. I was just talking about Prince is supposed to have a huge vault of stuff.
Oh,
yeah. I've heard that.
I have to be honest, I was kind of late to the game, with Prince.
Oh, I don't mind him. Beautiful.
Here we go. Psycho's platter.
Who is that? Oh, hey.
This is how I got started. 1978, 11 years old. This is what got me into it. And I'll tell you.
Wow.
Original green label, baby. You know what? Not a speck on this thing. Not a speck. This thing, from the minute that bell tolls, chills right up the damn spine. This was the game changer, baby.
Well, it was, it was a game. Black Sabbath was a game changer for me too. Every once in a while, I'd get comfortable in a musical groove, and then something like that would come out that would just blow my mind.
Well, and they own using the gimmick of the root note, its octave, and then the flatted fifth, right? Bow, bow, bow. The devil's note. Oh, I love it.
What do they call it? The devil's trichord or something? I'm like,
it was
mind blown.
It was like nothing you've ever heard before.
Hello
all, by the way.
Oh man, excellent album.
Oh my goodness.
My history with that album was I first heard it was 72 in North Carolina, and I picked up Paranoid. And that album blew me away. So I went, what else do they got? And went and got their first one, and it blew my mind. I couldn't decide which one was the best album. Amazing.
Gloria's asking me a very challenging question.
Me too. I see mine now. I'm like going, oh.
Well, I'm gonna have to lean into the Led Zeppelin studio albums for my very favorite. And I tell you what, even that is hard for me. I think Led Zeppelin is like Led Zeppelin 2 is.
Oh, I have Led Zeppelin 2 on vinyl.
The Brown Bomber.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I also loved Led Zeppelin 1.
The Zeppelin one's really good too.
And that was a lot of blues covers. But the way they did it, it's rock blues covers, But anyway, then I go to Led Zeppelin 4. So I'm going to say like it's hard for me between 2 and 4, but I think I've moved on from 2 after so many years, and I would probably say 4 is my. And there's also Houses of the Holy. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
My number one, Houses of the Holy, right there.
Yeah.
You know, since we're on the Led Zeppelin thing, let's put it this way. Jeff Beck wise, for me personally, it's Jeff Buck Wired.
I never grow tired of Red. Yeah, I have that album too.
Yeah, I love it. You know, it's like I love his I'm sorry. I'll make you froze. There. I was gonna say, I know. Hang on. It's just that I was really impressed with Beck's cover of "Goodbye My Pork Pie Hat." I was blown away with this jazz cover of that song. So Led Zeppelin wise, I'm staying on 2. Led Zeppelin 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'm gonna go.
I could
What's your favorite Black Sabbath album, Royce?
You know, the crazy thing about that is, since this is so fresh, right now, this is my favorite Black Sabbath album.
Fair enough.
Well, not quite Black Sabbath, though, right?
No.
No. Okay. Excuse me. Not quite Black Sabbath. You're absolutely right. They have a big catalog too, and Ozzy's not on a lot of it as well. You know. But I would probably go Paranoid.
Okay. Considered by many to be the first heavy metal album.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How about
what about everybody else?
What would be your favorite, Michael?
Mine, I cop to, I love good pop and heavy metal all mixed up.
Right.
Master of Reality, man.
Master of Reality.
That's all.
I love it. I love that album.
Right. Yeah.
What about everybody else?
You have to cut off tip of your fingers to get that sound. Yeah.
I know some Black Sabbath fans like Dio albums,
What's not Dio? I like Dio.
That's fine.
Dio's good, but I never got into him in Black Sabbath.
Oh, I like
me
him.
Neither. Yeah,
he has
me
a
neither.
killer voice. Oh my gosh, Dio is awesome.
Yeah, he's good. There's no doubt about it. But to me, I kind of lost interest in Black Sabbath when Ozzy wasn't there.
The same thing happened to me. The same thing happened to me. Yeah.
For me,
I like Born Again too.
What's that?
I like Born Again too. From '83.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? On any given day, their very first album's my favorite, or Paranoid's my favorite. There's like 5 of their. I love Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
I do too. Okay, that's actually one of my favorites there too.
Right, and
I would put that above almost all of them, to be honest with you.
Best album cover by them.
Yeah.
I love the front cover is one scene, and then it's still in the guy in bed, but the implications are different, man. So that creates a yin and yang feel to the album, and the music backs that up. I love it. Masterpiece. But they put out at least 5, that I can think of. Their first one, Paranoid, Master of Reality, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and what would be the other one? Said he. Here, watch this. Screen froze. It's not going to work. It's not coming to mind. A 5th one isn't coming to mind, but there's 4 out of 5.
Right. So Psychos, what have you been doing on your show these days? I haven't been there in a little while.
Well, let's see. Just got done shooting a new Jukebox from Hell, which is a sub-series that I'm doing about albums that were either panned by critics or the fans just really couldn't get into them. And so we just got Yeah, I figured. Let's see. The first episode we did a Beach Boys one from '92. The second one we did Van Halen 3 from '98. The new one is the Ringo's Old Wave album from '83, and the one that's going to get filmed Tuesday, episode 4. We go to 1973 with The Plan from the Osmonds.
Okay.
So I'm going all over the place.
That's a pretty interesting.
Are you going to cover Led Zeppelin 3? Because that got a lot of flack from both critics and fans.
Actually, I got. That's funny. Seriously, because even the big ones are going to get it. I just take one album based on research, and then I'm like, wow. Good. So I'm hoping to do a weekly series, drop them on Fridays. And then I just got done doing a live stream before I got to see Mr. Royce here. And
smart move, though.
Well, smart move. I got to tell you, here's my experience with Led Zeppelin 1, 2, and 3. Most people didn't hear 1 until 2 came out because it had the big hit, A Whole Lot of Love as a single.
Right.
And then people go, oh, there's a Led Zeppelin 1? But anyway, I was in high school in Las Vegas. It was between Henderson and Vegas. There was a trade school, high school, junior college, all wrapped into one, which was very dangerous because they treated you like an adult, which was the worst thing that I could have done. Being treated like an adult in school. You didn't bring a note from mommy when you didn't go one day. You didn't do anything. You just came when you felt like it. But anyway, so we're there, and so the discussion's always centered on music, standing outside. It was an indoor school, which was pretty cool. But the conversation was always centered on music when we were gathering outside with all my Vegas friends and stuff. And there was a lot of them that thought Led Zeppelin 2 was a sellout. Success. They loved Led Zeppelin 1, and Led Zeppelin 2 was just okay. And then when Led Zeppelin 3 hit, most of my closest friends heard it once and just walked completely away from it. Now, I didn't have that luxury. I had bought the 8-track the minute I heard it was out, and I kept it in my car, and I listened to it the first time, and I didn't like it. But then, as time went on, I listened to it again and again, and pretty soon it was playing night and day, and I loved it. But that's
I got to tell you, Royce, when I first bought it, I didn't care for it either. And when I heard it, because my first Led Zeppelin album, see, I was a Beatle fan. Right. So I was slow to get into the harder rock. Cream was like, okay, Cream's cool, but that was about as heavy as I got. So when the first Led Zeppelin album that even interested me, which is my favorite, Houses of the Holy.
Yeah.
Now, I heard all of those other songs. I knew every cut on every album because I went to teen parties like every teenager should and does. And that's all that was ever played at those parties were those Led Zeppelin albums. So, but I got the Houses of the Holy, and it sent me into another universe. And I knew they had taken everything from 4, which... if you remember when I gave my top 10 albums list on my channel, 4 was number 1. But at that time, I told you there was a time Houses of the Holy. Well, they've changed places again because I've never listened to more Led Zeppelin than I have in this last 15 months, And so now I feel like I need to redo that list because Houses of the Holy is like Led Zeppelin from an alternative universe almost. Think about that next time you listen to it. Well, think like, oh, this is the Led Zeppelin the planet next to us in an alternative universe got. It just sounds a little different.
Yeah, the thing about it, like I was asked who my favorite was earlier, and I said Led Zeppelin, and it is. But for the longest time, I would have answered that Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
But, he's still right on their heels, and he always will be. But the thing about Led Zeppelin is there's so much more going on in those songs musically.
Yeah,
it's
very true.
Layered in there so heavily, stuff that's so sonic. I mean, Jimmy Page was the master at all that stuff.
Well, you had 4 songwriters, even the drummer getting songwriter credit. Not every time, so it wasn't charity. It's because he would start a pattern that would send Jimmy in. I've done that. I have shared songwriting credits with drummers I've worked with because I would have never gone to the chords or the rhythm that I was thumping out. Right, exactly. So, I mean, so when you've got a drummer that can do that, John Bonham, the greatest drummer in rock history, John Paul Jones, the greatest utility player in rock history, and technically the greatest bass player for rock.
Also a session musician, prior to being just like
exactly, and an impeccable keyboardist, and a writer himself, right? And he's the only bass player that I mentioned as a one of the number one rhythm section with him and Bonzo. Yet Bonzo didn't play to him. Bonzo played to Jimmy, and it was up to John Paul Jones to lock in to Bonzo. So that tight rhythm section between the bass and the drums, you can thank JPJ, right? And the greatest singer in rock, and the damn best guitarist in rock and roll. What do? You can't beat a band like that. You have no defenses against Led Zeppelin.
No, you don't.
They're a bombastic quartet of sonic excellence.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, if it wasn't for the Beatles, I would be ever true to them, But I'm a Beatle fan too, So
I remember wondering if people were still going to be listening to Led Zeppelin and some of these other bands like the Beatles, 5 years later, and here we are, 50 and 60 years later,
Yep, it's still rocking.
And the kids are listening to it still.
And I don't think they're ever going to completely fade.
Oh, totally, Gary.
We had our oldies from another era, 50s stuff and some great rock in some 50s and early 60s. But it didn't have the staying power and the stuff we have out now, like Led Zeppelin.
Right. And Gary here is absolutely correct. At number 2 was John Entwistle and Keith Moon. I saw them at the Cow Palace the night that Keith Moon tried to punch out Pete Townsend, and then he passed out on stage. They had to call for a drummer out of the audience, and that drummer came up and played. The next day, that drummer got written up in the Chronicle and the Examiner, and he became a famous musician, studio musician. And I've told this tale before, but you never know who's new. But here's the deal. PBS did a whole series on the top 50 rock concerts of all time, and that was on the list. That concert, that's the one concert that was on their list I was at, man. What a crazy night.
That's a crazy night.
Yeah, I would pay to see that.
One more note of trivia. John Entwistle.
Me and my wild turkey.
Turkey.
Oh, that stuff's easy to smuggle into the Cow Palace.
Right.
The smack that
comes up. Yeah, that's so smooth too. We had a friend that kept telling us that
knock you on your ass smooth.
Wild turkey. We kept talking about how smooth it was. Betty doesn't drink any kind of
smooth.
She took a swig of that, and it was like she breathed fire afterwards.
Yeah.
But Keith Moon and John Entwistle argued, and maybe they're still arguing. Well, not Keith Moon. I'm sorry. Over who named Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm. It was probably John Entwistle, if you really look into it.
Because Led Zeppelin had not been branded Led Zeppelin, but they were in the studio practicing, and their buddies, Keith Moon and Entwistle, just stopped by. In fact, there was some talk about
them joining.
Right. So they stopped by and they said, well, this ought to go over like somebody said Led Zeppelin, somebody said Led Balloon. And years later, there was being debated who actually said Led Zeppelin first.
Right. But, most people think it's Keith Moon. But when I did my research for them on one of my videos, when I read it real close, it looks like it was probably Entwistle that actually said it. So, decided to show on the show before I do that.
Okay, well, this is going by Angela.
Hey, listen, on my channel, thumbs ups or downs are good because, baby, that registers the channel. So do what you will. It's all good. Nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, Gary's right about Ringo.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, he was known as
the guy. He is.
They had to have a session drummer come in on some of their songs to play for him. But that, and that got stuck in a lot of people's head. But Ringo became a fantastic drummer.
Indeed,
and it's because he's small. He's left-handed. A lot of people don't know the Beatles had 2 left-handers. And he's playing a right-handed kit because he saw kits being set up and he goes, oh, well, that must be the way to play them. And he's left-handed and he's small. So to keep up, he almost has a late approach. That became his style because he always finishes up perfect. So you always get that bram, 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 bram,
yeah.
That's the Ringo sound. Those toms.
Him and his
later on, Paul, when he started Wings, said he judged his first drummer on how well he went to his toms. That's a complete compliment for Ringo Starr.
Right.
Vastly underrated drummer.
Yeah. Vastly underrated. Correct.
Yep, flat out.
But I tell you what, I think if you look up Tommy Clufetis, who drums for Ozzy,
I will.
I think you'll think he's underrated because you don't ever see his name on the list, But I think that guy is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I think it's time to wrap it up now.
Hey, we made it out in 90 minutes.
How about that?
Yeah, I would thank my co-host, the Psychos Platter. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for letting me on, guys.
It's my harder to get over to your channel. I've always enjoyed it whenever I'm there. And I want to thank everybody in the chat. You're all really appreciated.
Yay, chat. Woo!
And, I really appreciate everybody showing up tonight. And I had a good time. I love this new album.
Me too.
And
same.
Yes.
I'll have to start going out and buying some of the other ones that I don't have by Ozzy now because this one really, really impressed me.
Well, Royce, don't forget.
Thank you all so much. And that's what's going on in Royce's World today. Good night.
Good night, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.